Hey guys, it's true. If I had my choice, I would never leave my room. Here's my room. So Heidi says, if I, this is my hussar outfit, but Heidi says that if I came down with the virus, I would be stuck in my room. So I have a medieval bed, lowland gorilla skull, a French hussar during like Napoleon era. This is the neck of a horse, armored, medieval. This is a Roman general. So she says, yeah, Marston, you have to stay in your room until you get better. So it's like, gosh, what do I choose? Which armor do I want to dress up in? Or she's pretty funny. Here's my other stuff. So this is like a gladiator, like arm. Hussars. I think one's German and one is Norwegian. I mean, during the Napoleon Wars, it was a sort of every nation sort of had these regiments of hussars, so they looked taller. And these are black bear. When I went to in Topanga Canyon, there's a store called it has a pirate ship on the top, and it's like hidden treasures. That's what it's called. And the owner goes, I sort of went to the owner and go, Jerry, so what are these things? And he goes, these are gorilla hats. Yeah, right. And then if you look inside, they're not gorilla hats. They're woven most excellently woven baskets to make the structure of this helmet, this hat, and this is Pakistani black bear. So they're probably made in Pakistan or India, and so they're pretty cool. My wife and her friend wore, and I have these like Sergeant Pepper red jackets. And my wife and who was it? Chanel. They wore these to Halloween, and it was like very incredibly cool. And then my armors are here. These are that was made for me first in college, and then I would do Society for Creative Anachronism. So we would go to we'd go to Pennsylvania, and they'd have a war. So they'd have 2,000 people on each side. So it's like a full-size medieval war. So it was pretty nuts. And they would have catapults like the size of a VW. Turn down this light. And they would shoot like a bushel of tennis balls filled with kidney beans. So these catapults would fire, and there'd be 500 archers on each side, and they would shoot their crossbows and their bows with they'd be like golf club tubes, mailing tubes, so it wouldn't go through your visor and blind somebody, right? That's kind of the issue. You don't want to get blinded by that. And then this is this down here is the suit that I wear. So it has a rod to hold the cello. This fits a woman. This is an earlier one, you see. So it has a lance rest here that pulls out, and this has this deflector V, and it's massively heavy. I can barely carry it, and it has plates, so it's this is sort of transitional armor. So he would have chainmail arms, maybe cups for his elbows, and he'd have gauntlets that were steel. But so that's the transitional period when they used plates like that, where this was much more flexible. You could sit down in a chair or in a horse. And the floor is sometimes awfully interesting. Here's a big steel mace. This is my armor on the chair. It's also can take a shaft for my cello. It's always, I mean, I had this theory that if you walked like a duck, if you looked like a duck, you were a duck. If you sound like a duck, if you quack like a duck, you're a duck. And then I think my concept here was it was very fun to me to play the the hero myth. That's kind of the thing in my head, I think, that I identified with for my life. And I kind of did this for my friggin' life. So I couldn't fight dragons except in my imagination. Yeah. So, but here I can. So here I can fight dragons. So I don't think I'd ever want to leave. And then I have a lot of, up here I have obviously a gladiator. This is like a Scottish ranger, kind of like a horseman. And that was a German salade, an Italian bassinet here. This is supposed to be my cabinet of curiosity. So some guns, but not usable. Let's see what else. Can't even see. But this is a viol d'amour. So it has 7 strings that vibrate sympathetically under the bridge. It goes through the bridge here. It's a very beautiful sound. And I have a cello made that is that. So it's a violoncello d'Armoury. The cello of love. And I have these are, remember, these are, here's a museum copy of a very famous emperor's sword. Ultra short. Oh, here are my here are my samurai shoes to walk in the mud. And I have a hakama. I have my costumes in the Hey, Keith. How are you doing? Sydney and Dan Brown. Daphne, Hans Weber. Nice to see you, Hans. I follow your posts. Some interesting things. I hope you're doing all right. I don't know if you're in Germany now, but Jean, hello. Danielle, Dane, Lisa, Holly. Let's see, Alexander, Simone, Jody. Wow, hi all you guys. Aaron. Yeah, so this is my bedroom, and Heidi says that if, in case I get the virus, I need to stay in my room. I don't ever have to leave this place. I made my room like, let's see, what else is interesting? Oh, I like this. This is a little thing I just found on the internet. So it's, this would go on your shoulder, this would come down your bicep, and this is your arm. So if it was like the period of Romeo and Juliet, so your left arm would have this steel cup here, a line down your bicep or on the outside of your arm, and then your elbow cup. So you could block the rapier. You know, see, do I have any of those? They're sort of hidden away. But that's kind of the idea. Is it was a little bit of armor, but you can deflect the sword. And maybe in your left hand, you would have this guy. This thing, can I go big? I can't. There. That's a very short dagger with a cup around knuckle guard. And so that's a really fun way, like the Musketeers, that era, because with that knuckle guard and a little short blade and that little piece of hardware I just showed you, you could deflect swords of any kind and use it as a block and then stab. Yeah, it's fun to. What I want to do is go outside here. See, we have the aerial rig, but out here, instead of that lyra, that circle thing, that steel hoop is a lyra, but I want to hang a target. I hope Heidi will let me do that. And then I could do my two-handed sword, because that's kind of like it's kind of a weaponized ballet. Yeah, because you have to move these huge movements, and then you use different parts of the sword. Where is a two-handed sword? I don't have. They're buried. But this is one of my favorite things here. This is a hammer, but it's for foot. See, it's pretty long. And, basically you hold it two hands and you need to try to do something like that. Or a famous move is to actually just hit the foot between the plate, the armor, and the foot. Pretty nasty. Pretty crazy. But the other thing that's cool about what I have from the Getty Museum, I found a treatise on sword fighting, and a lot of it is grappling. So you wouldn't have a sword. You would have a table fork and a table knife, and you'd be attacked. And so the treaty, this manual written in 1512, so it shows the great master with the fork grabbing, deflecting the sword, and then with the table knife going into the jugular. Because often these gorgets were removed in battles, so all the wounds, the frontal wounds, are all in the throat. Because breathing, look at like this one in particular, it's massively restrictive, and once you start heaving, you discard these things, especially in a battle when everybody is smashed together and you can't even lift your arms and you can't breathe. The whole deal is panic. That's pretty much what a medieval battle looks like and feels like. And in the Society for Creative Anachronism, it wouldn't get that rough. Society for Creative Anachronism, SCA. And but when you practice, you can even tell it's impossible, these things. But that's where the battles, that's where the wounds are. And then, of course, for the history of warfare, it's always been everybody's shot in the back because in battle scenes, it's usually not men shooting men this way. It's a bunch of people freaked out, like they're overwhelmed and they're running. And so they're all slashed from the back. And that's happened in all wars, Napoleonic Wars, all wars. World War One, it's wounds in the back because you're chasing. So I have these wonderful crossbows. This is see, it's got a windlass. Oh, they don't like that. The phone doesn't like that. But this is a windlass here. And that's my giant crossbow. I have a couple. Here's another one on a wall. And then some of them have these cranks. I like these. I kind of don't like swords. I kind of like the other stuff that you don't see very often. So if we shoot a little scene, I want to have knights, loading these giant crossbows. That is like so much fun. And the aesthetic's right. And because swords are relatively useless when you have armor like this, because you would use swords against, the rabble. But here, you would grab the sword by the tip and the other hand by the pommel, and you would just try to slide it in, right? You can't. A bladed weapon is useless here, right? You need to slip it here. So you need to grab the tip or have a little rondelle with a blade this long, like a needle, and you can slide it in. So it's not like the movies at all. Not at all. Okay, so this is where I'll be confined. This is my fabulous. I love this. This is a shoulder of my Greek armor, and this is a, gladiator arm. And so it's very fun. I just wanted to show you, my room. So this will be my quarters, and then say goodbye to this stuff. My hussar outfit. And the cool thing about this is, see, this is the outer coat. This is like, I saw Hendrix wear something like this with the fur. And this is actually the outer coat, and this is the undercoat. So it's kind of a really cool deal. And then these are continental European land armies. Like, see, these are the French and Italian and English would all wear these sort of things. And these would cover their hips, sort of a thing. And this sort of describes the formal wear. This is a chest of a horse. And see, that's where his shoulder is. And Spanish conquistador. These are some sort of Roman auxiliary, like Heidi made this. This is sort of a shoulder for one of her outfits. Yeah. All right. Goodbye, room. I would never leave you if I had a choice. But this is where anyway, okay, that's my room. So I'll see you guys later. I have to do some chores and then work in the studio. So, ciao.